thing that we're going to do, so we just did some Brood War matches. That was Brood War tournament number 4, and I got a request from a player to cast one of their matches, and this is StarCraft 2 tournament number 3, and this is the losers round 1. So both of the players that we're going to be watching, they have lost their first match, and they are playing for their tournament life here in these matches. So this is going to be Voodoo versus Moji. And the first, oh, you know what? I should change my replay template. I might do that for the next one. But, forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, losers round 1, StarCraft 2 tournament number 3 is the third tournament that we've ran for StarCraft 2. This first map is Last Fantasy, and it is a 3-player map. One of the few 3-player maps that you'll see in StarCraft 2 on the ladder right now. And up here in the 12 o'clock position, we've got Voodoo Actual as the green Zerg, and we've got Moji as the blue Terran here in the bottom left. So yeah, in StarCraft Underground, we don't just do Brood War, we do StarCraft 2 as well. Though I gotta say, the Brood War players have been growing a lot. I don't know what it is, but the Brood War community is pretty diehard, and they love community tournaments. So there's a lot of them. Alright, pretty standard. Barracks, gas, supply depot. The drone here is trying to be a little annoying. What was that? It looked like he was trying to drop down a hatchery. I think his time might be better spent dropping the hatchery in his natural, but does go for a gas steal. Which isn't a huge deal. A little annoying, but should be fine for our Terran player here. Sending another drone behind it. Does get an expansion up here for the Zerg. Spawning pool probably about to go down. And just another drone being annoying. Now, it does look like Moji is going for an early reactor as opposed to getting like a Reaper, which is pretty standard in this this kind of build. And he hasn't sent anything to scout yet, so he's doing reactor into an early command center. I do like that he's not getting sucked in by this gas, so I think these players are a little bit lower MMR. And in the lower leagues, it's not uncommon for something like this to really throw a player off and, you know, unintentional or like incorrectly pull like 10 SCVs to go swarm it and get rid of it. So starting Marine production, finishing off his wall here at the top of his ramp for our Zerg player. Just finishing up his hatchery, hanging out, droning up. And going into Queen. So it's not untypical as well to get like 4 to 6 Zerglings at this point in time. Run them across and start harassing a little bit. But opting to just get the Queen out, continue with drone production. And our Terran player is getting his factory down. So expansion made on the high ground. He'll be sending that down to the low ground. But opting to build the orbital up top first. Not terribly uncommon. If he's expecting hyper-aggressive play. Spore Crawler going down for our Zerg player. This is, you know, good defense against Liberator harass, drop harass, and getting a Baneling nest to try to bust any walls that are out there and fight off the bio. Cheeky little third base going down in the main. Now, this is kind of interesting, the fact that he's doing this, because it's not really all that sneaky. I didn't see the SCV come over here. I kind of actually want to check. Okay, so he did come over here. He did see where the Zerg player was playing, but I didn't actually see it initially. Can I zoom out? Yeah, there we go. All right, and so he's finally, you know, the Terran player's floated his orbital down to the natural, dropping some mules. He's gonna, yep, rally over there and start getting a supply depot wall with his bunker. Getting the starport up, we'll see if he goes Liberator. Goes Reactors, so likely to generate a couple of medevacs off of this once it's complete. after he keeps his Marine count increasing. Now we're starting to see the Zergling production. We're seeing metabolic boost being researched. And he's going to be sending these Zerglings down to his natural to just hang out and defend. So not a particularly aggressive early game at all. Really, the most excitement we got was from the drones coming in, being a little annoying. We got the gas steal from Voodoo. Good Spore Crawler placement. Double gas going down here at the natural for our Zerg player. Continuing to drone up nicely. And yeah, you got to be careful as a Terran not harassing a Zerg. You gotta make sure you keep the pressure on them. Otherwise, they can run away from the game, or run away with the game. Does have his safety tank up. Second tank coming down to the natural, probably set up somewhere around here to provide additional safety as well. And then once these medevacs come out, we'll see what he intends to drop with, if he is going to go for a drop. And what I'm curious is how sneaky he's going to try to be. If he'll likely just go straight up this left side, which this Overlord will be here to kind of detect. But if he tries to do something where like he goes around the right to hit the main, that'll tip him off to this third base over here. And he may not even drop. I'm just kind of assuming he might. He may just keep these back and use them with probably like his Marine Ball and keep them alive. 4 additional barracks going down. And here come a bunch of Zerglings. So these Zerglings aren't going to get anything done. But he is going to see there's a wall here. And he's got that Baneling nest. So we could probably see a bunch of Banelings morph. He's got a ton of gas. He's got his layer up. Starting his creep spread. Saturating his third. Yeah, both players just kind of powering up, keeping it chill. And he's going Spire. Okay, so that's where a lot of this gas is going to go. We're probably going to see a lot of Mutalisk play coming out here. And that can be really dangerous if not detected, or if he catches the Terran player without any turrets or Marines in the base, or whatever the case may be. And he sneaks into these mineral lines. All right, he's got these barracks just pumping, getting some tech labs on these barracks, which will be huge. He can start getting stim upgraded, start getting combat shields upgraded, triple evolution chamber, and infestor pit for our Zerg, getting an overseer made. All right, both players just hanging out, kind of in their corners, waiting for the other to make a move. Now the Terran's getting to the point where he's probably should be thinking about getting a third. Struggling with some supply blockage at the moment. Building some supply depots. Creep spread going underway for our Zerg player in a 4th base over here in the natural at the 3 o'clock. A whole bunch of queens. So I think at this point, if a drop was attempted, it would have a tough time being hyper successful unless there was a lot. It would have to be a pretty big drop, I think. Or you'd have to drop out and then like run in and then drop behind. Okay, so these Zerglings aren't going to see this move out. Tank's getting a little weird pathing there. Wonder why. Maybe they can't make it through this gap. Yeah. Boji recognized that. Tank's now moving out to join the rest of the army. And a whole bunch of Zerglings sitting out here in front of the natural. Now, a lot of upgrades being made, right? Voodoo really doubling down on his cash to just get a bunch of upgrades. We've got Burrow, we've got Missile, we've got Carapace, we've got Melee, we've got Flyer attacks, we've got Hydralisks being made, really teching up all over the place. We got Lurker Den, where I thought he was going to be going into early Mutalisk. Looks like he's going to be going for some Lurkers. And this isn't a terribly big push. He's got a couple of tanks in here, though, and good on Moji for scanning ahead, seeing that the coast is clear, which is almost nerve-wracking, right? If you do that, you're like, okay, cool. I can jump in there and do a bunch of damage. But then the question's, where's the army, right? And this army is sitting here, just waiting. And really the big fear is, you know, half of these becoming Banelings and just running through your supply depots. This is a cool little spot. If he can get vision, which, you know, he can use his medevacs for, he could just pelt this natural. The Zerglings are getting on top of this, but there's so much bio here with all of these medevacs. It's pretty tough to take this out. Hydralisks are coming in, but they got to be careful from these siege tanks. This is looking a little rough for our Zerg player. He's got a lot of upgrades, but not a whole lot of army at this point. Whereas Terran's got a 146 supply. Most of the supply for our Zerg player is in the form of drones. So Moji doing a good job of protecting his tanks, just moving forward inch by inch. We've got, what are these, lurkers? Yeah, we've got lurkers trying to be hashed right now, but they are getting gunned down by these Marines. Now, if he can get these down, like, that's helpful, but the Terran player likely has scans at his disposal. And this just looks really rough. Now, of course, the Zerg does have a couple other bases across the map, so he's not dead. But we're also not seeing a whole lot of army being produced from these. Oh no, the drones are just getting massacred right now. Now, a good amount of Banes. These Banes can be a like pretty solid comeback mechanic if they get on top of this bio. And it is just erasing it. Good pickup there. Good pickup by Moji, preserving some of his Marines. He's going to drop them right back down. He's going to keep this pressure going. He's going to keep the push into this Zerg base non-stop. Now, Moji floating a bit of material. Okay, I didn't even see this Nidus go down. Nidus goes down. Lurkers are in the main for Moji. And this kind of flips the game on its head. Here I was thinking Voodoo was out of it. And here he comes, just shredding everything in the main base. Now, that scan's going to wear off here in a second. He's got a couple more scans at his disposal. He's got probably one from this, a couple from this. And he needs to lift that off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so CC is lifted off. He needs to scan this. He needs to start sieging it. But they are just out of range. And this many lurkers is a little bit tough for this Bioforce to run into, especially with the SimCity the way it is. They're going to have to funnel in like one straight line. Okay, so Moji trying to figure out how he wants to approach this. He still has this force over here, but I don't think that's where his attention is. I think his attention is, okay, let's survive first with, you know, Voodoo's Nidus that he placed down. And then let's get into it. Okay, we've got Liberators. Liberators can clean this up. So if Moji's able to get another good scan, which he's running out of, and you can't scan from a lifted orbital, right? So he's pretty much relying on this one. Then he can start picking these off with the Liberators he has. So doubling down on the attack, Moji just sends the entire 10th Brigade of Marines over here to the 12 o'clock. And we just have a good old-fashioned base trade situation. Now, the big thing that happened here was that these lurkers killed a gajillion supply depots. So Moji's mega supply blocked, and his entire army is across the field, and he's not pushing with it. There's a few lurkers here, sure. He's got some tanks. He brought one of these Liberators over. He could probably clean that up and get in there. It does look like he finally did clean up these lurkers, and he's going to be killing this Nidus. So that attack was powerful from Voodoo, but eventually it did get cleaned up by Moji. Popping a Nidus up at his other base. This is going to help him bring in reinforcements from this right-hand side of the map undetected and quicker. Let's see if these Banelings can get in. They don't. They get shot down. And this is just so much Marines. Also 1-1. Now 2-1 on the Hydras and the Lurkers. But this is tough, right? Sitting at a ramp with Lurkers at the top. That's a tale as old as time. But the siege tanks with the scans, they're going to make quick work of this. Powering through with the Marines. Moji is up in Voodoo's base. The Queens are trying to make a last stand. The Zerglings try to get in there, but they are just mowed down. A couple of scans going on for Moji just to make sure there's no hidden lurkers. A couple pop, and this scan will dissipate, but the lurkers aren't burrowing in time, and I think that this might be it for our Zerg player. Now, the Terran player still has issues of his own, right? Like, he's still very supply blocked. He's got a lot of macro he needs to take care of at home, but he's got a big bank, right? So if he can just pull some SCVs, which he's got 30 of them somewhere, he can build back up rather quickly. And once the hive goes down, a lot of these tech buildings are going to go down. I don't know if the Zerg player is going to be able to come back from this. Tanks are moving up into the main base. They're going to siege. That's going to effectively pretty much deny everything that's going on. So back in the Terran's base, Liberators are still set up, mining mostly from the natural, very oversaturated. Probably do with some transfer and then maybe get this third up and running. And then Voodoo is trying to get his tech kind of replaced on these bases on the right. It's a very scrappy game. Both players really just beating the crap out of each other. And now losing the spawning pool, you know, Voodoo's going to really, I think, struggle to get an effective army up. And Moji isn't aware of these bases on the right. So Moji's probably thinking, okay, why haven't you GG'd? Like, why are you still in this game? And it's because Voodoo is sneaky, and Voodoo has 3 hatcheries, well, 2 established, and another one coming up over here on the right side of the base. And now he's building all of his tech back up. Now, he doesn't have the substantial bank that Moji does. So he is playing from behind. And so really what Moji needs to do, he's on a race against the clock. He needs to find the Zerg bases and just go power into them before the Zerg can start powering up. But I also like that Moji isn't being idle, right? Like, he's getting these expansions up, and I think he's got a wall off that he needs to, you know, fix somewhere, which is easy to forget when you're in the heat of all this this micro and like trying to, you know, survive. But these SCVs will eventually get down here to the third base. He'll start getting those saturated. He'll start increasing his income. There's another base here just hidden. Wow. Zerg just continuing to expand all over the map. But definitely playing from behind. Definitely no army, right? Like, Zerg is just really doing their best to stay hidden. And I really wish Moji was flying around with stuff, even if it's just a medevac, right? Just start doing circles around the map. Send Marines out, 1 to every mineral line on the face of Lost Fantasy. He's got to know that he's ahead. Okay, rebuilding the army. You know, these upgrades, like, yeah, the tech buildings are gone, but like the upgrades still remain. So Voodoo's force is still formidable if he can get those numbers back up. And you know, Voodoo's got like twice the workers that Moji does as well. Now, mules are good though. Mules can help get this income up because Moji has expended his bank, but now he's on the move. Now he's on the hunt. And I think this is going to be very dangerous for a Zerg player. With a lot of Marines, he's got tanks, he's got Liberators. He's got SCVs waiting to mine. But I like the grit that we're seeing from both of these players. Alright, this ball of Marines just evaporating everything that's coming by. These Banelings trying to hatch as fast as possible, but they are just getting annihilated. And I think this is going to be it. Like, this is just so much bio. And there's really nothing here. There's no lurkers at the top of the ramp like last time. There's no huge amount of Banelings that are there to get in the way of this. And so these Marines are just going to walk up here. And this is pretty much what's left for Voodoo. He's got a few other hatcheries, sure. But that would just be unnecessarily extending the game. Get some mutas out, but they're just going to get swatted. Yeah, this hive's going to go down. He's pulling the drones. The drones going into the wood chipper here. Very dramatic death by the hive. I think Zerg's had it this round. Just kind of digesting the loss at the moment. Still an army at home for Moji as well. Okay, we do have the GG. All right. So, Moji up 1 in this best of 3 series. Let's go ahead and quit this replay. Let's go into round number 2. All right. Maganatha. Have to tab out there for a second. All right, get our production, zoom out. Let's get some names up top. All right, Maganatha, 2-player map. We have our green Zerg in the top left. We've got our blue Terran in the bottom right. saw a pretty standard build from Terran last game. We didn't see a whole lot of harass, though, from either player. So I'm curious to see if the players are feeling comfortable enough to try to harass one another, right? Like Terran can maybe build a Reaper, get an early Liberator, maybe do a drop, maybe get some Hellions. We'll see if we see something like that during this match. And then for the Zerg as well, we didn't really see much with regard to like Zergling run-bys, or trying to sneak things in, or any type of like banelings in the mineral mines or anything like that. But we do see another annoying drone. We'll see if Voodoo ends up going for a gas steal again. Last time when the drone was getting hurt, yeah, we saw that last time too. Trying to drop a hatchery right in the middle of the base. He does. He drops the hatchery right here. So hatcheries, a lot of health. Takes a long time to knock down, but the biggest problem with dropping a hatchery is that you just don't have the money to expand when you wanted to, right? So it's annoying, but it's really not stopping the Terran from doing anything. And again, I kind of commend Moji on this sense, that he's not overreacting, right? In fact, I probably wouldn't even have this SCV sitting here chugging away at it. Emoji does go for an early reactor, again, before Reaper or Marines, which can be dangerous, especially when you have a hatchery right here, because you can't wall off now. He even had to float that barracks so that he can get the reactor down. And so if this was being followed up by a bunch of Zerglings, this could be dangerous. Alright, opting to build his command center on the high ground again. Hatchery does go down in the natural for Voodoo. Second gas, spawning pool. He let it finish. I'm actually surprised. But yeah, it's really annoying because like the creep comes out here and it's really annoying to like build around. This is some crazy stuff. You don't really see this all the time. And these Marines, it'll take a while for them to kill this as well. And some things you can do, right? Like he's got some of these drones. You can like build spines. You can like build spine crawlers and stuff. You can make some really weird things happen with a hatchery in the main base. Yeah, right? Like he's doing a spine crawler. Now what Emoji needs to do is he needs to keep his plan going. I like the bunker. The bunker will help in the event that additional pressure shows up. Oh my goodness, Voodoo getting some Zerglings out now. I think if he's going to do this, he needs to get these Marines over here in the bunker, or at least prioritize killing these Zerglings for the moment. Yeah, okay, so they move over to the bunker. He needs to keep building Marines too. Alright, he's powering down the Spine Crawler. Spine Crawler will probably start whacking this. But, you know, a couple SCVs can repair this, and the Spine Crawler will go down. The Queen is frustrating. Queens are a little tough to deal with early on. But the name of the game right now is just don't stop building Marines. Is this working? This appears to actually be working for Voodoo. And you can see here, right, the irritation of trying to build and there being creep everywhere. This is an absolutely bonkers game. This bunker doing what it can. The Zerglings found a little spot where they can't be hit. There's a good amount of Zerglings in Moji's base at the moment. Ooh, good little rally there, getting the Marines to pop out on the other side. Not sure if the Zerglings forced that, or if that was something that just naturally happened. And the hatchery goes down. The Broodlings are going to kill a Marine, though, which is never a feel-good moment. Now, Moji's trying to move this factory over, but he still needs to wait for this creep to clear. Does end up finishing the command center. Still very much so in this game. Is down SCVs. He's lost a good number. And, yeah, he needs to get these Marines out. They need to start walking around. Ooh, he put down some tumors. It's going to keep the creep spread there for a little bit. It's gonna waste some scans that right now Moji needs to use for mules. That might have been an accident, actually. I think he was trying to scan right there. There we go. Gets the scan off, kills the tumor. Okay. The Zerg presence has been eliminated for the Terran. Back in the Zerg base, things are looking okay, right? Starting to get +1 melee, has the Baneling nest up, has natural fully saturated. Looks like he's going for third hatchery, kind of away from the standard third base locations. This seems to be a trend for Voodoo, liking to take his third a little bit farther away, which is pretty risky, especially if you're up against a player that is effective with their scouting. Because that's just going to get identified and shot down. Now, Moji, I think, a little rattled. Has a good number of resources that he could be kind of powering through to really get an advantage over the Zerg. Like, that wasn't cheap for the Zerg. That was very like APM intensive for them, very attention intensive. Lost a lot of units, lost a lot of time that could have been spent, you know, getting this third base up, teching up to something like maybe Roach Ravager. And so now we see Moji dropping down a supply depot wall with a bunker. This will help a lot with his defense. He also needs to get a tank. So he has a tank now being built. And looks like he's stabilized. I think at this point in time, he could probably feel safe to salvage this bunker, get some of those resources back, and start just dropping production buildings all over the place. Getting his starport. So likely returning to his plan. We saw this last time from him. He went 1-1-1. And then he did kind of like a surge of barracks. He did like 4 barracks because he's still sitting without a barracks with a tech lab, which means he doesn't have stim, doesn't have combat shields, and he's gonna definitely want those as soon as possible. All right, he's gonna get a safety tank set up. I love it when games take these really weird turns in the beginning. Voodoo still doesn't have this third up, but does have a drone up there ready to do it. Gonna start getting creep spread. And going Spire again. So last game we saw Voodoo drop the Spire. Didn't utilize it right off the bat. Kind of threw down a bunch of different tech buildings and ended up going Hydra Lurker. I need to see another Overlord. I think that was like a skin. Can't tell if they're like dropper lords or not. I don't know if he's upgraded that or transformed them. I don't think so. I think these are just standard. Yeah. All right. Moji's getting back in the game. He's evened up the worker count. He could be dropping some mules. I think it would be helpful. Going to be getting 2 more gas, and we're getting the engineering bay. He really needs to get a barracks with a tech lab. The third is finally being built for Moji. 2 additional Evo chambers going down. So Voodoo tends to like to get 3 of these. Gets melee, range, carapace, all going at the same time. We saw in game 1 that was kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like upgrading and teching up as fast as he was really left him with a lower army count. Now this Liberator is going to see this third base. There's nothing there for it to shoot right now, so it'll continue on to the main. And I don't think he's going to get anything done. I don't see spores, but there's, what, 4 queens here? That is more than enough to knock a Liberator down. So we'll see if he gets any drone kills, or we'll see how fast the reaction is. Ooh, good timing on the Spore Crawler. Look, the Liberator was like hiding in the Overlords. Oh my gosh, right in front of the Spore Crawler too. So he gets 1, gets 2. Alright, Queens have been activated. And we're seeing kind of the same build out the entire tech tree play that we saw last time. This Liberator is going to die. It's going to get shot down. But I'm glad to see some harass coming from our players here. Alright, so Moji appears to have recovered and appears to be doing kind of like his game plan, right? He's getting his 4 barracks, he's getting 2 with tech labs, 2 with reactors, he's going to build a couple turrets. I think the main purpose of these turrets, this is kind of a weird spot for one, right? Because he's got the natural over here. He could kind of do turrets on this side and then focus more his turrets over here. But he is building turrets, and I think, you know, there's some scar tissue from getting Nidist last game. Probably trying to avoid that situation again. And here's a Nidus. So I think this very well might be something that Voodoo attempts. Voodoo going for the top right corner to get his 4th. His expansions are not like mutually supporting. You gotta be careful about doing that. Because if the Terran just came up here, it would just knock it out. Same with this one. Like, it's just so far. There's not creep spread connecting them. But this is a whole lot of Ling Bane that is established. And it looks like he's kind of going the same Hydralisk, likely into Lurker play that we saw last game. So we got a little bit of a push coming out here from Moji. Let's see what's going on back at home. He's getting some upgrades now. Getting stim and shields. I like the timing with the push in conjunction with that. They'll be done by the time they get across the map, so he's not wasting any time. Somehow, Moji's come back from that early game and is leading in supply. He's got more workers. He's got a bigger army. Voodoo's been taking his time to expand across the map, which is definitely needed. But it looks like, we'll see if the Terran sees this creep. It looks like he's going to see this creep. He might be able to just go up here and knock out this expansion. What I predict happening is he'll do that, and these Ling Bane is going to come up here and knock out these tanks. Okay, he's playing conservatively. He's going to stay back. Okay. Very cool. He's just going to let his tanks do the heavy lifting. He's going to stay here. He's waiting for the response. Here comes tons of Zerglings. So many Banelings! Oh my gosh. The Ling Bane cleans up everything, but there's only with one Ling standing. It was the exact amount he needed to A-move into that. And that kind of reset the army. Huge Marine Bio Ball, though. So production is still continuing out of 4 barracks. But we're starting to get Lurkers on the field. So Lurkers, obviously, very good against Marines. Now we have the Overseer coming in. Here's the attempt for that Nidus. We're seeing the same play as we saw last game. This time, there's a turret. It does look like there's a possibility to get Nidus back here. But we'll have to see. Some Marines hanging out here by the Zelnaga Tower. I want to keep an eye on this guy. I really do think the Nidus is going to be attempted. I don't think the Nidus was dropped at one of these exterior bases. And a whole lot of upgrades coming down. Getting adrenal glands, getting carapace level 2. He has burrow. We got burrowed Baneling bombs, which is always fun. And we've got a drop, but this drop is, I think, visible. And if it wasn't visible then, it's going to be visible here. But there's a lot of drones that can be wiped out. This looks pretty dangerous for the Zerg player. Spore Crawler a little late. Spine Crawler a little late. These Marines are going to get a lot of kills. Drone count dropping rapidly. Now these Zerglings and Hydras are going to probably clean this up, but we do have the Nidus going down. Is it going to be noticed by Moji? We're not seeing a reaction in the main base. He might be getting Lurkers in again, similar to how he did in the last game. But don't forget, the Terran is all over the place. He's got drops going in the top right. He's got drops going in the top left. But now the Lurkers are here in the main. They are on top of the production for the Terran. These players just like going for the throat. There's no blocking here. Both players are just going headlong into each other. And this is a lot of Lurkers. This command center, it's not lifted off. It is going to go down. Not a whole lot of minerals here, but still, always sucks to lose a command center. These jobs doing effective work over here. The natural for the Zerg has been killed. Both players, I'm sure their hearts are pounding. Oh no, the Terran production is all getting wiped out by Voodoo's Lurkers. And back here, some Banelings and some Lings cleaning up that first drop. Second drop coming up here. I do like that Moji's attempting to do this. This is a good way to play, but it's also very APM intensive and very multitasking intensive. And right now his main base is highly jeopardized. And he's basically just down to his natural. So this is a full-on base trade situation. This is too many Lurkers to run up with Marines into the... Wow, how did that SCV just do that? Okay. The SCV made it way farther than I thought it would. And I think... dang. This is quite the pickle for our Terran player. All right, Zerg is battered and bloodied back here. Continuing to do drone transfers, lost the natural, really reset to 2 bases. Terran sitting at 1. Moji committing with what's remaining towards the Zerg base. Kind of a replay of game 1 with the exception that there weren't Liberators this time to clean up the Lurkers, and the Lurkers came at a moment where Moji was mega busy on the offense. So, real solid back and forth here from these two. All right, third base is being attempted. Zergling is here. Zergling is going to see it. Green ball committing forward. All right, the Lurkers have made their way down to the natural. This is really bad for the Terran player. Really good for the Zerg player. He's effectively cut off all income from the Terran player, and the entire Terran army is across the field, and all production is pretty much wiped out. But now it's the Terran's turn to come back and try to punch up into the Zerg. Now there's no medevac support with these Marines, so they're not gonna be able to stim, or at least if they do, they gotta do it sparingly. Otherwise, they will be doing more damage to themselves than the Zerg could ever even try to do. And you can see here, like, this entire bio ball is just mega red. And they're trying to target down this hive. Bunch of Zerglings. Ooh, good target fire there on the Banelings. Does protect the Marine ball from the rear. Is this hive going to survive? I don't think so. It does go down. That basically puts the Zerg on 1 base, but the Terran's at 0. He's got a floating orbital, 2 floating barracks, and I don't even think does he even have a supply depot? He's 24 of 15. Just doing what he can with these Marines. Oh my goodness, those Banelings just cleaned house right there. And here comes an SCV to join the fight. 3 supply. GG. All right, that's game number 2. So we are 1-1 for these 2 players in the loser bracket of... I gotta stop saying loser bracket. The lower bracket of StarCraft 2 tournament number 3. So the loser of this last round will be eliminated from the tournament. And the winner will carry on. All right. Voodoo Actual, our green Zerg up here in the top left. Moji, Blue Terran, down here in the bottom right. Now, both games... I need something to drink. Holy cow. Both games were basically clones of each other. A couple of things I liked from that last one that was different from the first one. There was a point for the Terran where he started dropping all over the place. And I really liked that. I think he had 3 different sets of 2 medevacs going, and he was hitting all these different bases all over the map. And it was really effective. He got a ton of drone kills. He wiped out a few hatcheries. The problem was that he got Nidist, and a ton of Lurkers showed up. I like that that Voodoo's been able to sneak that in. I'm curious if he has another play that he's going to try to do this time, right? So like last game we saw Moji building some turrets. Oh, also last game we had the hatchery get dropped in the main early on, which just threw everything off. And we see it again. Okay, so it appears that Voodoo's main strategy is drop hatchery and then Nidus in with Lurkers. Bold strategy, Cotton. See how it works out. And again, like one of the biggest things about this is that this is just resource intensive early on. But last game he got a ton of value from it. He was able to get a bunch of Zerglings in. I think Moji has the correct response here. Getting this bunker up close and personal is good. The one downside of this bunker placement is that last time the bunker was able to cover the mineral line as well. But what I like about this bunker placement is 1, it'll be able to hit everything that comes out just like the last time. And 2, it'll be able to cover his ramp. So he's really tightening up the engagement area to like this square right here, which is going to be much more effective. He's going straight to command center, which I think makes sense. That's fine. But he needs to get these Marines. He needs to like heavily prioritize getting this Marine production and don't stop. So CV might as well go back to mining. Getting buildings down before the creep spreads. I'm not against getting the second barracks. That's fine. I like that he's parking this SCV over here for the repair. Really, he was just pretty prepared for this. So this is kind of what I was talking about with like the bunker placement. Like he's really good on covering the ramp, hitting the hatchery, but he's not really hitting much up here. Now, luckily, the SCVs are going to knock this out. That's fine. And Voodoo's spending a lot of money here and resources on trying to get Zerglings up and going here. Is able to knock out the SCVs that are building these two buildings. Mega annoying. These Marines can be caught a little bit out of position, but they are going to knock those two out. Excellent. He needs to move these Marines a little bit closer to this hatchery. Get in supporting distance of this this bunker. Queen's going to come up here. That's going to be pretty annoying. But the Marines are going to knock it out. Okay, I think this is effectively done. Like, he's got 2 more eggs with Zerglings in it. I don't think he's building a queen here. This is going to be killed. There's no tumors this time. This was a much cleaner defense than last time. And these Zerglings just aren't going to get anything done. A little disruptive, right? He's killing some SCVs now, which totally sucks for the Terran player. But I think he's good, right? He's going to clean up these larvae. He's got his command center built. He'll be able to get that down, start dropping some mules, keep the Marine production going. I like that he's getting a barracks with a tech lab early on. Last game, Stim and combat shields took a long time to get researched. But he's pretty behind on SCVs. So if I was Voodoo, I would be keeping this pressure on. I guess he did get a tumor up there. I missed that. If Voodoo's able to get an army here, or, you know, just place a few Zerglings around kind of like the second base opportunities and continue to delay the economy of Moji, I think that that's really the play. Meanwhile, Moji probably needs to get a factory up and get a tank. If he can get a tank, get it parked up here, have that safety net, he can start chugging and get both of these orbitals pumping out SCVs. Alright, so he's going to start taking the natural. There's nothing here for the Zerg, so this is going to just be free natural. Terran will be able to start recuperating. Very similar to the last game. Oops. Sorry, all over the place. Baneling Ling hanging out at the natural for the Zerg player. We're getting those Evo chambers down, like Voodoo tends to like to do. I guess just one this time. That's standard. We're not seeing the 3 get dropped. Salvaged his bunker. Good, good. Right. Moji continuing to build up his economy. Does get his factory started. Okay, excellent. So he's going to start getting his tanks going. Curious to see how Voodoo capitalizes on this lead, right? Like, he's got a lead. Is he going to expand? Is he going to keep the pressure on? Is he going to Nidus? If I see a 3rd game Nidus, I'm going to lose it. 2 more gases going down here at the natural. Having Burrow being researched, +1 melee. Okay, and we see him move out. Alright, so this is how Voodoo's going to capitalize on that advantage that he has. He's going to try to roll over here and bust this wall before it becomes something too big. Now, this isn't the biggest army in the world. I think it's pretty close. The bunker is pretty substantial, but if he can get these Banelings in here, they can be very efficient at cleaning up this ball. And we're still waiting on that tank, right? So, like, pre-tank, get the banelings in there. He's morphing more banelings. 12, 13, 14 more banelings, 15. It's going to be very explosive. And if he can get this in here before these start, which he's coming down to the wire on, he could lead with the lings and baneling right into this mineral line. That'd be a really cool move. Oh, it looks like these are shift clicked from this one SCV. Yeah, so he is going to get in here. So he leads with the lings. He's going to get up in here. The bio's going to wipe it out real fast, but here come the banelings. There's so many of them. Okay, he dumps some into the bunker. They die. Oh, no, they are getting shot down pretty quick. Into the mineral line they go. Oh, my God. Woo! So there was a natural here and an entire mineral line. But it just goes to show that if you have like 80 banelings, you can clean that up pretty quick. So that put Moji's economy back into the Stone Ages. He's at 20 SCVs. That was a lot of banelings. Probably not the most efficient trade, but it was really cool. We've got more Zerglings being morphed. We've got Hydralisk Den on the way. Infestor Pit as well. We're probably going to see a quick hive, get some hive tech lurkers out. Seems to be the play that Voodoo likes to go into. Let's go ahead and watch these lings charge over here. Now, there should be a tank. There is a tank now. Tank changes the math quite a bit, especially with a good placement like that. Protected by bio. It's going to be able to do a lot of hits on these banelings before they come in again. But with the economies the way they are, you know, Voodoo may be able to just rinse and repeat this a few times. We do have Medivacs on the field now as well. So there's opportunity for pickup micro. This is a bit tougher of a position than it was last time. And if Moji gets the jump on it, oh, he's going to go for a drop. Okay, cool. But, okay, no, he's unloading. Alright, did he shift click it again? Yeah. I kind of wish he would just grab like 3 SCVs and just clunk them all down at one time. Oh no, he's moving out. I love the aggression here from our Terran player, but I think he needs to check a little bit first. Because now there's nothing at home. This is going to be devastating. Tank's unsieged. Lings are getting in here. Baneling's detonating, killing the tank. He's opting to go up into the main. Okay, the supply depot. Oh, he's going to get on top of the supply depot before it goes up. These banelings are going to come into this mineral line. The SCVs are being pulled. But here come the banelings. He's waiting for that perfect connection, and he's getting it. Oh my gosh, there's still more banelings to be used. There's 14 SCVs right now on the field. This is a really tough spot for the Terran. These banelings are doing absolute work for our Zerg. Now up here, the Terran is getting a push of his own because these two, they do not, when they're getting punched, they just punch right back. All right, the Naturals looks like it's going to go down for our Zerg player. Absolute slugfest. All right, Natural is destroyed. Some Zerglings pop out. We got tanks sieged up on the low ground. This is looking pretty good. This looks like it can be quite damaging. We got a lot of queens up here. We have a lurker though. Lurker has showed up. It's going to do a lot of damage to this bio. You can see just how weak these Marines are. The medevac's pretty low on energy. The tank doing a really good job of covering. But he needs to get a scan down on this. He's trying to run around the outside. He's trying to avoid the lurker. He does end up getting out of range. He's fighting these queens. The queens are doing a lot of damage. And then this bio ball was already so weakened. And now they're probably going to try to shoot down some of these medevacs. They are speeding away. Maybe pick up the tank. Pick up the tank and off they go. All right. Both players taking a beating. I'm just trying to get my bearings here. We don't have any SCVs mining minerals. We're getting some mule drops to try to compensate. Looks like Terran's trying to regroup and potentially push out again. Keep the aggression going. Now Zerg has been expanding behind this now. I don't know if the Terran is aware of that. If the Terran believes that he's knocked out the natural and that's all there was in addition to the main, He may have a false sense of security on how he's doing. Okay, good. He's running a Marine around the outside. That is going to catch the additional expansions. All right, both players just licking their wounds. I'd like to see this natural get rebuilt. More banelings. Zergling, or not Zergling, drone transfer. Oh, Marine found this expansion. Gonna kill a couple drones. We'll see if the drones... Okay, he's bringing some Zerglings over. Definitely don't need to blow up these banelings on it. Zerglings will take care of that Marine. And we're seeing a little bit of a push. Okay, I like what Moji is doing from the sense of strike over to the right, go to the left. We saw this last game as well with the drops. So that's pretty effective, and you can see it's made effective as well due to the creep spread of the Zerg, right? When there's gaps in creep spread, the response is just a little bit slower, but that takes time and practice to get effective at. He's seeing that the natural is still knocked out, and there's not a whole lot up here. It does look like we're grabbing another lurker, though. So I kind of wish he would have scanned up here and just dropped. Just loaded up everything and just dropped it, like, right here. Ooh. Holy cow, so many lurkers coming from the Nidus. And that's going to shut down this push. Like, he could probably sit here and... There's a third game with a Nidus. I just wanted to point that out. And pelt it with the siege tank. This is going to be a problem. Liberators are showing up. That is kind of the answer to this problem. We saw that during game 1. He was able to do really good work with these Liberators to get rid of them. The Liberators combined with the Marauders' concussive shells. As long as he keeps this scanned, he will be able to knock out these lurkers, and it'll be very efficient for him. Okay, good scan. Liberators are going to start picking these off. But also just very aggressive from Voodoo. Voodoo keeping this Nidus going, keeping the lurkers pumping in. It's been so effective for him with regard to getting on top of the Terran production. This is just absolutely a scrappy slugfest. And a lot of lurkers. Okay, so Moji's force over here in the Zerg's main is kind of stalled out. And he's just trying to defend his own. He needs to kill this Nidus. We're going to see the Liberator probably pick off these two remaining lurkers, but he needs to scan it. He needs to get the scan down. And then here comes like a third attack from the Zerg player. A whole nother wave of Banelings. Going to kill the last remaining SCVs for our Terran player. And this is starting to look really rough for Moji. He's got 11 SCVs. The Zerglings have gotten in here, somehow staying between the two Liberator zones. And the Nidus is still up as well. So Voodoo still has a lane of attack. But Moji trying his darndest to stay in this. Another hatchery going down for Voodoo down here in the bottom left. Oh my gosh, the Banelings. Oh no. This tank is gone. He did pick up his Bio Ball, which was good. But we've seen so many Banelings this game. See, now this like area for dropping, that's what I wish he would have done earlier. Like back when he had this the more substantial force. Right now he's just too close. There's too much here. Like he's dropping on the lurkers. So this is going to be an effective defense for Voodoo. And right now, I don't see how Moji's going to come back. But Voodoo needs to end it. So Voodoo, if he wants this game, he needs to keep the pressure on. He should know that he's ahead. He still has the Nidus in this base as well. I think he's just having a lot of fun with Banelings. Kills another command center with the Banelings. Liberator's trying to get established, but these are going to be long gone by the time it's set. He's going to kill more SCVs, bringing him down to 8. I think the game's over. Moji's just not giving up, though. I love that for him. But oh my gosh, please send some Marines over here. Got some Baneling Bomb, Spore Crawler. He's got these drones up and mining. But overall, like, the bases are there. They're established. Terran's on one base with barely any economy. We'll be dropping some mules. That would help speed things up a little bit. Get more of this this bio ball rolling. Because Voodoo doesn't have the biggest army right now, but he does have a bit of an economy. So that's kind of what's keeping him going. Big drone transfer. I'm actually trying to find where the army is. I don't see like any army. Apparently there's 41. Are they all like in a Nidus? Yeah. Found the army. It's in the Nidus network. And here comes another Nidus. I think that this is going to be the killing blow. This is going to be the killing blow. Here it comes. The entire Zerg horde. The swarm has shown up. And I think for the last time, as Voodoo comes in and just starts knocking out this production. Gonna kill this orbital command. There's no more orbital commands on the field. This was an absolute slugfest. I think we're gonna see the GG any moment. Because there's no counterpunch ability. Normally with these two players, when this starts happening, they just take everything they have and like run it to the other person's base. But Moji's just kind of digesting the loss. He throws in the GG. Voodoo will win this match 2-0. Moji will be knocked out of the StarCraft 2 number 3 tournament. And Voodoo will move on. That was a really fun game. So, yeah. We have... Look at this Hydralisk just going. We've got a whole band of skill ranges, right? And it was really fun to kind of go back and check out the earlier lower bracket matches. Because you don't get games like this all the time. We saw every game. There was a Nidus network. We saw every game like base trade situations. This was absolute chaos, and I am here for it. I love it. But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. So yeah, if you're not a part of StarCraft Underground, or if you're watching this on YouTube, like check the Discord link below. It's StarCraft 2 and Brood War. We did Brood War earlier today. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's very flexible timing. One match a week. Different brackets, multiple brackets. You can be playing in like 10 tournaments at once if you want, because you have that flexibility, and it's a really fun community. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching.